Good evening, and welcome to the latest edition of Miami Total Futbol. We're at Inter Miami CF Stadium, where just a few hours ago, Inter Miami was scheduled to play Atlanta United in the second MLS match at this venue. Ultimately, though, the game was postponed because of the team's decision to come together and protest the recent events in Wisconsin. Now, it was an eventful lead up until the announcement of the postponement of the match. Either side came out for warm-ups an hour before kickoff like they were originally scheduled to. They had a lengthy delay before actually coming out and taking to the field, but it seemed once they were on the field that the match would go on as planned. Eventually, though, Inter Miami captain and goalkeeper Luis Robles stopped what he was doing to walk towards midfield to have a discussion with Atlanta United leader Jeff Larentowicz. The two players that are part of the MLS Players Association board spoke for a couple of minutes before Robles jogged off the field and headed into the locker room. We don't know who he went to speak to, but it's probably safe to say he went in there to have discussions with either league officials or other teams about postponing the night's match. Shortly after that, both teams headed to the locker room, and the match seemed like it would continue as planned. The sprinklers came out and started wetting the field to prepare the surface for a match, and Atlanta United reserve players and some of the technical staff came out of the locker room and took their bench, but Inter Miami was nowhere to be found. It took several more minutes before Inter Miami as a team came out in full uniform, but they didn't take to the field. They stayed on the sideline near their bench talking amongst themselves and the Atlanta United players that were on their respective bench about the decision to attempt to postpone the match. Luis Robles went down the tunnel and near the Atlanta United locker room, presumably to further have discussions about what to do or how to do it. Eventually, both teams came out in full and stood together in unison for a photo to protest the recent events in Wisconsin. Shortly after that, Inter Miami walked towards their locker room and the official announcement came through that the match was being postponed. Atlanta United stayed on the field for a couple more minutes, but eventually made their way to their locker room as well. Now, no Inter Miami player or official spoke after the cancellation about what went into the decision or how it came about, but AJ De La Garza did speak to CBS's MyTV33 to shed some light into what was being discussed during the whole process.
Respect them, and we have to respect why we wear these shirts, and that's to make a change and to have our voices heard and support the injustice in this country. So I think we had to make a very tough decision in front of our coaches minutes before walking out here.
Now, we don't know when Inter Miami's next game will be. They're scheduled to play Nashville SC this weekend, but there's no word yet on whether matches will resume. 5 MLS matches in total, including tonight's between Inter Miami and Atlanta United, were canceled, and only one was played between Orlando City and Nashville SC. So it's unclear yet if this protest will resume into the weekend or if it will go much further than that. But that about does it for now. Make sure you stay tuned to Miami Total Futbol for more news and coverage of Inter Miami in the days and weeks leading ahead. I'm Franco Panizo. We'll see you next time.